Maturity skills, another important phenomena, similar to capacity, a big piece of the pie. Healing trauma is a really big deal, but capacity is, if you add that piece, then a bunch of more things make sense. And the whole idea of there are skills you have to learn about being in a healthy relationship. That was another big piece of the pie that actually Jim was in the middle of that, helping me add that piece to my worldview of understanding everything. So I'll touch on that for 3 minutes. There are a number of different important components that need to be in place for a thriving life, like having a saving relationship with the Lord, receiving forgiveness from the Lord, having the Holy Spirit living inside of us, having good information, learning and believing truth, healing/resolving traumatic memories, participating in life-giving community. These are all important, valuable, and even necessary for a thriving life. And another component of thriving is to learn healthy maturity skills. None of these other important necessary pieces for thriving will take care of the need for learning maturity skills. The need to learn right hemisphere relational skills, the need to learn maturity skills, is an important necessary component for thriving that is separate from any of these other pieces. And especially for the folks who this is new to, a couple of specific examples, like being able to offer attunement, being able to kind of hear a person and really be with them emotionally and to listen to them and so they can actually feel that you get it and you're with them. That's a skill. That's a right hemisphere maturity skill that you can learn and practice. The ability to recognize when you're triggered and your relational circuits are off, the ability to kind of be aware of your relational circuits and notice when they go off and realize, until proven otherwise, I'm triggered. That's a skill. That's a right hemisphere relational skill you can learn and practice. And then being able to recognize your circuits are off, and there's specific deliberate things you can do to bring them back on and dramatically limit the damage of being triggered. That's a skill that you can learn and practice. So, thank you, Jesus. Yes. So we need to have a saving relationship with the Lord, and we need to learn skills. When you get saved, you don't suddenly know how to play the piano. If you get saved and give your heart to Jesus and you want to play the piano, you still need to learn the skills necessary to play the piano. Like, that makes complete sense. When you get saved, you don't suddenly know how to perform surgery. If you get saved and give your heart to Jesus and you want to be a surgeon, you still have to learn the skills necessary to be able to perform surgery. And when you get saved, you don't suddenly know how to have healthy relationships. If you get saved and give your heart to Jesus and you want to have healthy relationships, you still need to learn the skills necessary to be able to participate in relationships in a healthy way. We need to have good information, we need to have truth, and we need to learn skills. Knowing the theory about how to play the piano is not the same as having the skills necessary to play the piano. They're both good, but only one doesn't do the job. Reading a book about surgery is not the same as having the skills required to be able to perform surgery. And knowing the biblical and psychological truths and principles pertaining to healthy relationships is not the same as having the right hemisphere relational skills necessary for actually participating in healthy relationships. We need to heal trauma, and we need to learn skills. If you have seriously injured hands, Jim kind of talked about the idea of a broken bone, how that fits in. But another analogy, this is such an important point, we're going to hit it 3 ways and hopefully it'll stick. Now, if you have seriously injured hands, it's going to get in the way of playing the piano or performing surgery. But if you get healed so that your hands are restored physically, you don't magically know how to play the piano. You still have to learn how to play the piano. Same thing with surgery. If you have injured hands, you can't perform surgery, but getting your hands healed doesn't magically teach you how to perform surgery. Same way, unresolved psychological trauma could get in the way of learning maturity skills, and resolving psychological trauma can make it possible, much easier to learn maturity skills, but healing the traumatic memories won't magically teach you the maturity skills. That's still a separate task. And I could make similar points with respect to having the Holy Spirit live inside of us and participating in life-giving community. If you have a problem that is being caused by lack of maturity skills, If you're having trouble parenting, if there's an issue, if there's a problem in your marriage, and the real issue is that you're lacking maturity skills, you can have the Holy Spirit, you can get saved, you can learn truth, you can have healthy, life-giving family and friends, you can get healing until the cows come home, but these other interventions will not solve the problem if the problem is being caused by a lack of maturity skills. Yeah, getting saved, having the Holy Spirit, learning truth, having community, and resolving trauma will not teach you right hemisphere maturity skills. All right. Now, the good news is that there are very specific concrete things you can do to learn maturity skills. The bad news is I don't have time to talk about that now. More good news is that you can get the details about learning maturity skills from Thrive and Life Model Works material. There's good stuff out there. We just can't do it today. You recognize that guy with the big forehead? The other people at the core seeds, you can track that stuff down.